Greetings, everybody. Welcome to this OTR Life. I'm Steve, also known as the Flying Smurf. So I haven't done a video in a while, and maybe I'll do another one a little bit later, and get into some of that. But I wanted to share, funny stuff is, everybody loves the funny stuff, right? And I don't know, maybe some people won't find this funny, but I kind of got a kick out of it. So I had to take my truck in for maintenance, 2-3 weeks ago. The ABS sensor light came on in my Freightliner, which kicked off, you couldn't use the cruise control. I think it was the traction control wasn't working. I had amber lights everywhere, okay? And I had a sinking feeling in my stomach about it because the first Freightliner I got with GP, I had the same thing. When I took it to the shop, I ended up moving out of that truck. And I got a brand new truck out of the deal. Not that the truck they gave me was all that old. I think it had 75,000 miles on it. It wasn't all that old. But I got a brand new one. Right? And what it was the ABS sensor module on that particular truck, Freightliner, for whatever reason, I don't understand it. They did not want anybody, if anything went wrong with it, the policy was you pull that son of a bitch out and send it to Freightliner, and they'll either fix it, replace it. I don't know, but it was going to be like a 3 or 4 long day wait. And GP was like, well, shit, we are not fucking sitting you for 3 or 4 fucking days. So they just, had a new truck there on the yard. Here you go, bub. And away I went. So anyway, I had the same issue, this truck, way more miles. It happened at 198,000 miles or something like that. So the ABS sensor, was having a bad day. And right around the time that happened, a weird thing happened. My dome light here in the cab started going on and off all by itself. It would come on, cycle all the way from dim to bright, go off for a split second, and come right back on and go right through the whole process. And I was like, what in the fuck is going on with this thing? No amount of screwing with the switch over here helped. I tapped on it a little bit up there. I did all the obvious shit, right? This fucking light, I got a Gremlin in here. I don't know. I did a hard battery reset and finally threw my hands up and said, okay, I didn't call the company about it. I called them to let them know, hey, I got to get into the shop for this ABS thing. And, they put me on the schedule and stuff, and I was going to be there. I think it was when I called, it was going to be the following day. Was it the following day? No, it was the day after. So it was going to be a couple days before I got back to HQ, which I told them was fine. I'm like, they asked me if you want to take it to a shop somewhere and do that, you can go that route. And I was like, I would much rather go to headquarters. Truck's not unsafe to drive. It's a pain in the butt, maybe without cruise control, but so yeah. But I got to deal with this light. All right, you can't drive at night with that shit going on, right? So, I didn't have anything to cover it with, which was my first thought. And I was, I'm looking at my truck, my freaking duct tape. I had a big roll of duct tape in here. We recently bought a camper, and we were moving some stuff into it, and we needed the duct tape or whatever. And I grabbed it out of my truck, forgot to throw it back in here. So I was like, fuck, I don't know, where's my fucking tape? And then I remembered, dumbass. I do have some Scotch tape that I keep in my clipboard, clear Scotch tape. I guess I could have maybe taken a manila envelope or something and stuck it up there and taped it up there. But anyways, while I was up there looking at it, I'm like, well, shit. It's just a cover. It should just pop off. Maybe I can just unplug it. So that's what I did, right? It even looks like it's got a little indentation, in the cover where you can get a fingernail to get some purchase and just popped the sucker down. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, it's just a dome light. It's got a cover. If the bulb goes, I mean, how else would you change it? You obviously have to be able to take this fucking thing down. So carefully, and it popped right off. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I just unplugged it. Okay. I set the parts. It came in two parts. So the outside part is just like the clear plastic, and then the inside is all the internals. Like there's all kinds of shit in there. But I just unplugged the main wiring harness and set it aside and figured, I didn't call GP on it because I thought it was kind of silly. I was like, this is fucking weird. It's probably just a short. I don't fucking know. But I'm taking it to the shop anyway. When they're doing the ABS sensor issue, they can just fix this. I get to the yard, okay, and they got me in really quick too. Like, first thing, I was in. I didn't have to hardly wait at all. I mean, maybe like a half an hour. Within a half an hour, 45 minutes of checking in with maintenance, my truck was in the shop. So I grabbed my laundry basket and figured, well, I'll do my laundry and stuff while my truck's in the shop. And the laundry room is right next to the big dog maintenance guy's office. Okay. And well, before I get ahead of myself too, GP has a Freightliner representative that is Monday through Friday, 0700 to whatever, 5 o'clock at night. I don't freaking know what his hours are, but he's there during the day to, I'm assuming, handle warranty issues or manufacturer only stuff, or if something comes in that nobody's ever seen before. I don't really fucking know what his, I do know he handled the ABS problem on my first truck, and he was the one who was handling the ABS problem on my new truck. So if that's a Freightliner only thing, I don't fucking know, guys. But anyways, that's not the point of the story. So I'm kind of hanging out in the little lounge area, which is where, the maintenance desk is there. The big dog maintenance guy's office is right there, the laundry room, and then there's a lounge area with a TV and all that stuff. So the Freightliner representative dude comes walking through and goes into the big dog maintenance guy's office, and I heard my truck number. So I was like, oh, man, let me guess, it's gonna be the same fucking thing. So I walk over there and I poke my head in and I says, hey, not to interrupt, but I heard my truck number. Is there what's going? Is there something I need to know? What's going on? The Freightliner guy looks at me and says, hello, GP. He says, yeah, man, how come you ripped the light out of your ceiling? And he's looking at me like I'm a piece of shit fucking douchebag. And so I'm a little bit taken aback for a second with the venom that this guy seems to have for me over this light. And I said to him, I said, I didn't rip anything. I says, I popped the cover off and just unplugged the light because it was malfunctioning. And he's like, well, it wasn't a malfunction. Okay, he says, your truck needed a software update. That's what it does for that software update. I'm like, wait, what? And I stood there looking at him, and I'm like, okay, hold on a second here. Let me see if I can unpack this. You mean to tell me, for whatever software update that truck needed, okay, the computer was telling my dome light to act like it's fucking, like a gremlin's gonna jump out of it? Or like I needed an exorcist? I'm like, there's not a better way that the truck can't alert the driver that your truck needs a fucking software update. I'm like, how about a light on the dash? I said every other sensor or problem with my truck, it would almost be like if, I don't know, I had the ABS sensor issue and all of a sudden the air horn starts blowing. I mean, what the fuck is this? And then I was like, and I said, in any case, I says, man, I just popped the cover off. What's the issue here? What's the problem? And he's like, well, that thing doesn't just go back up there. And I'm like, okay, let me think about this for a second. So I looked at him and I'm like, so what happens when you have to change a bulb? If a bulb goes in your light? I said, you mean to tell me? I said, what do you mean it doesn't go back up there? And he's like, yeah, once you pry it down, it breaks off the, whatever the fuck it is, plastic pieces that's holding it in there. They just break off. And I was like, I didn't hear anything break. He's like, no, you probably wouldn't. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me you can't just snap that son of a bitch? You can't plug it back in and just snap the whole assembly back up? I said, that would make sense to me. And he's getting all mad, right? And he's like, well, why didn't you just cover it up? And I was like, well, that was my first thought too. And I went looking for my duct tape and realized I had taken it out of my truck because we were moving some stuff around in a camper. I don't remember what we needed it for, but I grabbed my duct tape. When I left the house, I forgot it. I had no tape. Okay? What the fuck you want from me? Okay, mister, I have to drive at nighttime, and your truck needing a software update, okay, was doing something that would prevent me from being able to drive when the sun goes down. What did you want me to do? I didn't know what to do. And I said, I didn't think it was a big enough issue for me to call maintenance back again and be like, oh my God, what do I do about this light? I handled my fucking problem. And I'm like, don't blame me for fucking Freightliner's bad design. He's like, I gotta put screws in this thing now and mount it back up there. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry that you gotta put screws in it and mount it back up there. And all this is going on in front of the head maintenance guy, who's just sitting there like, who's on first? He's watching us both back and forth. And I'm almost laughing at this point. Okay, I'm almost laughing. I'm over the fact that this guy is really being an asshole to me, and he's trying to talk down to me, and I'm not putting up with it. I'm giving every bit as much as he's giving. Okay, and I'm like, I handled my problem, man. I said, I'm sorry that Freightliner, the company you work for, did a horrible fucking design for something as simple as a goddamn dome light. I did what I had to do. So he goes walking out, and I'm like, oh, okay, that ended on a positive note, right? Now I look at the maintenance guy, and I don't want GP to think that I'm damaging. It's their equipment. I call it my truck because kind of sort of is, but they pay for it. It's theirs. And I look at him and I'm like, man, I had no idea. I did not rip the light out of the ceiling. I said, you go look. I says, I popped the assembly off like I thought it would come down, right? It came down exactly like I thought it would, and I thought it would just, I didn't try putting it back up there because I figured I would leave it down because they were going to have to fix it anyway. I says, I didn't know. I didn't freaking deliberately try to damage anything. And he's sitting there and he's like, I can't even believe this is a thing. And I'm like, wait, you don't know about this? He's like, you're the first guy that, I guess if any other drivers do have a problem with this, maybe they all have duct tape or something to cover it up with, and that's how they handle it. I am sorry that I handled it the best way that I thought that I could handle it, right? And anyway, so it was the maintenance guy he's like, he's like, it's fine, man. I'm not worried about it. So I'm like, okay, and that's that. While there's, my truck is still out there, they're still messing with it, doing whatever, and I'm folding my laundry because that's done, and I'm like, oh yeah, I meant to check with the desk there. I'm gonna grab my truck is just clicked over 200,000 miles. I might want to grab a headlight or two. This thing, any day now, I'm gonna wake up and do my pre-trip, and there's gonna be a headlight. I go up to the desk, and I say, yeah, man, I got a 21 Freightliner. Can I maybe get a spare headlight or two? And the guy looks up and he's like, no. I was like, maybe it's a part shortage or something. That's big going on. And I'm like, you guys not have any? He's like, no. He's like, you're gonna love this. And he's like, I just heard. I heard the conversation going on in there. You're gonna fucking have a field day with this. He's like, the 21 Freightliners, that whole headlight assembly. If you have an issue with your headlights, you have to replace the entire assembly. You can't just go in there and change the fucking bulb, which it shouldn't surprise me because I noticed, not right off the bat, because, you know, when the truck was brand new, it's not like I was looking to check to see, you know, how to change the headlight. It's pretty standard usually. You know, there's usually like a cover. You pull the cover off, or back or out of the way, and you got to reach in there and unplug it, and then twist it and pull it out. It's, you know, pretty standard stuff. But what I had kind of noticed, like when the hood has been up, because I you know, kind of look all over in there just for anything, that cover looked weird. It looks weird because it's really not a cover. Well, it is a cover, but it doesn't come off at all. So I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, man. So if I need a headlight, I can't just fix this. I have to go to a shop, because number one, I don't have the headlight and they won't give me one. All right, they're probably because they're pretty expensive. And now I don't want to be out here changing a fucking headlight assembly. I mean, I probably could, but it's not my truck. So I was just like, it blew me away though that something as simple as a fucking headlight is now that. And so I'm sitting on the couch, and the Freightliner dude comes walking back in, and he's like, I'm all set with your truck, man. It's, you know, they're pulling it out here. I'm doing up the paperwork. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Is there anything, you know, I need to know? You know, did you find anything else wrong with it? Or he's like, no, it's a good truck. He's like, everything's good, ABS sensor and all that stuff, software updates done, your light's fixed. I was like, okay, great. And I couldn't help myself. I could not help myself. While he's scribbling away on a clipboard, I was like, I says, man, by the way, I just heard that Freightliner, in their infinite wisdom, also put headlights in this thing that can't be changed, apparently. I'm like, what's up with all these bad designs? And I didn't even give him a chance to freaking respond. I literally did an about face and grabbed my laundry basket off the couch and headed out the fucking door and just left. So that's my funny maintenance story. Wow, that took a lot longer to tell than I thought it would. I thought this was just going to be a short little video. Sorry for the long video. I hopefully you enjoyed it, and I am still working for. There were some questions. I glanced through a couple comments, because I have not been paying much attention to my YouTube channel or any other thing on the internet for a while, for personal reasons. Not that I hate anybody or hate the internet. It's just I've had a lot of shit going on. And like I said, that's a topic best left for another video, maybe, if I get into it all, because I don't really want to get into too much of my personal life. It's not why I'm here on YouTube, not here to tell the world about everything going on in my life. So, anyways, still around, still driving for GP, still think it's a great company. Just wanted to share that what I thought was a funny story with you. And, well, maybe help somebody out with the Freightliner, too. So, realize Freightliner did some real wacky shit with the 21s. Y'all take care, be safe, keep on trucking.